Hey, what's going on? Welcome to the Doug Show. My name is Doug Cunnington, and in this episode, we're getting an update from Arielle. How's it going today, Arielle?
Hey, all is good. We're lagging a bit, I think, but I think we can work with it.
And we'll make it timely because I don't detect the delay, but you were telling me your computer's running slow because it's so hot there. So how hot is it?
It's come down a bit, but today was the hottest day of our year. So I think we went up to 42 degrees Celsius, which is over 100 Fahrenheit. So quite hot for us here.
Yeah, and you were saying you don't have air conditioning typically in most of the places there, right?
No, that would be quite a frivolous purchase because we don't really have that kind of weather often.
Yeah.
So
That is truly hot. So good luck. I know what it's like being in a place where it's really hot and you have no air conditioning. So yeah, good luck there. I know it's pretty miserable. So
I don't want to complain. That's the thing. I do love the hot weather, but usually we'd be on holiday in this weather, and then you'd have AC in your hotel, and you'd have the sea breeze. So it's just a bit. It feels like you're in a greenhouse in your house, and the breeze that the fan gives you is just the warm air blowing back in your face.
yeah, I'm lucky here. I mean, it's hot here too. About the same temperature.
Wow.
But I'm in the basement and we have AC, so it's like much cooler. I am about to go out and work in the yard though, so that will
Oh,
be
okay.
very hot.
What
Um,
time is it? What time is it now?
it is about 1 p.m. in the
Oh,
afternoon,
okay.
so it's hot. It's the worst time to go out, but I'm working on the yard and I have like I think it's like 4 or 5 tons of rock being delivered on Tuesday, so I need to
Yeah,
get some stuff done. And it doesn't matter if it's hot or not. I just need to do it.
it has
So.
to be done. Yeah.
But we're not here to talk about how we don't like super hot weather. We're here to get an update from you on your sites. We missed like a month in May, so we're going to do sort of like May, June. We're mostly going to focus on June, of course, but we should catch up because one of the reasons why we weren't able to record for the May update is because you moved. So, are you all settled into the new place?
Yeah, more or less settled. It's a really nice area. We've got a lake about 3 minute walk down the road. So I've been going to the lake quite a lot with the kids. Just got a new puppy. So yeah, so it's all new, but it's all good. It's all good.
And how old's the puppy?
She is 15 weeks now. So she had her second jabs not too long ago. So she's just started going out for her walks, and but now the sun is just too unbearable for her. So yeah, so
Yeah.
it's all learning. It's a new learning curve for me.
Okay. And do the kids love the puppy? Like how's the household going?
The kids absolutely love. Everybody loves her, and she loves the kids. So yeah, the baby is obsessed with her.
Yeah.
She will not leave her alone, but she has these mean streaks where she wants to poke her, and the puppy is just such a loyal family dog that she just licks her hand and then just leaves it alone. But I'm always trying to keep the baby off of the puppy.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, puppies are they're fun, but a lot of work. So I'm sure there's a lot of extra attention and, house training and all that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it's pretty fun. Well, yeah, anything else with the house or the move? Did you get any like big upgrades? You're like, oh, this is a great office or I don't know, kitchen,
um,
something.
Yeah, so I've got this the spare room into an office, but as you know, before I was in my conservatory, and that was a nice office. In the heat, it wouldn't work. My computer would do worse than it's doing now. It would just completely start freezing, and and it'd have a lot of trouble. So, but yeah, still got an office, which is good, somewhere to work from. Yeah, a bit more space as well, a bit more garden space for the kids. So that's good.
Nice. Okay, so let's get into the meat. And for people that are just starting to follow along, we've done about 4 interviews in the past or so over the earlier part of this year, so people can follow along and get the updates. And there are blog posts over on my site, Niche Site Project, so you can follow along, see the graphics, and kind of just check everything out in a more detailed way. So let's hear some of the recent metrics and analytics and all that stuff. And you know what? If you have May, you can mention that too. If you don't have it handy, that's okay. You can just talk about June.
Okay, so starting with site 2, which is the one that we didn't start with. I know it's confusing, but this is my second site that we saw was doing well, and we thought, let's go back to it. The EPMV is a lot better than what we're seeing on site 7. So yeah, so site 2 is growing, it's doing well. In May, it had 17,000 or just under 18,000 page views. And then in June, it had 22,500 page views. From ads, it earned $370 in May, and then in June, it earned $440. And the EPMV is $25, but in total, it earned $980. So so half from ads, and then the other half is from a small amount from Amazon, and then the other affiliate programs.
Great.
And shall I go straight to site 7?
Sure.
Yeah. So site 7 had just under 15,000 page views in May, and then in June, 18,900, around 18,900, I think. And then ads, it earned $78 in May from Ezoic and $115 in June. And from Amazon in May, it earned $130 and $160 in June. So in total, $280 in total in June.
Very good. Okay, so if I'm doing the math right, that's roughly $1,300 for the 2 sites, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. And just a quick summary. So you mentioned it, but basically we started working together. We picked one site and we focused on it for about, 2 months. And then you realized, hey, the other site has a lot more potential. It looked like site number 7 was going to be just kind of limited in what you could earn because the EPMV was not going to be that much. And you checked with your account manager at Ezoic, and they confirmed that because of the subject matter, there's just not as many advertisers. So we shifted, we pivoted because we saw what results we were getting and just wanted to make sure we didn't waste time. So you are now focusing on site 2 primarily.
Yeah. I'm glad we did that.
Yep. And it makes sense. And, a lot of people, in fact, you were on a live stream today with me when we had a little miscommunication, but I was glad to see you on there. But someone asked today, how do you even get started when you don't know if it's going to be successful? It really holds people back. And the thing is, you just got to get started and then you could adjust along the way. And this is a perfect example where we started working on something together, told a bunch of people about it, and then realized we needed to pivot. And there's no harm in shifting. Did you have any reservation or were you nervous about shifting or anything like that?
No, not at all, because I'd done the bulk of, I think I'd put up over 200 articles by then. So I knew it was growing fast in the beginning, but I knew it was going to continue to grow. So I was happy to just leave it to see what it did, if the EPMV got better, what the Amazon sales were looking like. And it's even, we're in July now, so I don't want to give too much away, but it's continued to grow. So I'm glad that it's doing what it's doing, and that I went back and started adding more articles onto site 2 because it only had 70 and it started showing promise. So now it has over 200 articles, and they're already starting to mature and everything's going up. So yeah, I'm glad I did go back over to it.
Awesome. Let's talk about delegation. You have some writers working with you. You have some VAs. So can you just break down what's been going on?
Yeah, so I had 7 writers initially. I've still got them. They're freelancers, so they do their own thing. And if I need more writers, I can just message them. But I've got 2 main writers, as I mentioned before. One writer is very immersed in the niche, so she knows a lot about it. It's not hard to give her outlines or just give her the topic, and she can do a decent job. She does a good job finding FAQs people also ask. She's really good. So I've got her and one of my writers that I've had a long time. And I've got 3 part-time virtual assistants who also do some writing, because some of the posts are mainly about researching and organizing the information and getting screenshots and stuff. So that's an easy enough task that the VAs can help with while they're doing other things. So,
perfect.
Yeah.
And as far as like hiring and letting go of some of the control, was that an issue at all? I know a lot of people, they have that feeling like I don't want to allow someone to make a mistake when I could have done it better myself.
Yeah, I had that issue for many years before I even got into niche sites. So I definitely understand that. And that's why I always tell people about 4-hour work week, because that helps you realize that your time is more valuable and you can do this and that. And if you want to scale, then you definitely need to outsource. There's no way around that. If you want to duplicate yourself, just work on your training, make sure that you train your VAs properly, and they'll be able to do the task. So I think that holds a lot of people back, thinking that they're the only person that can do it. So I made a video about hiring a virtual assistant and just outlining all of that stuff. So when you're hiring, what to ask them for, what information that you need to give them, and focus really on training them up to the standard. So doing videos for everything. And you and I spoke about that as well. So going through your day as you normally would, make notes about what you're doing, and then do a screen grab, I guess, of your process, and then just give it to them and let them go through it and give them the opportunity to make mistakes. But I find that they generally want to do a good job. So they'll ask you questions, I'll go over it a few times, and they want to keep their job. That's why they applied. So they'll do their best, and they get better over time. They get a lot better. So,
have you had any issues, any mistakes that were made?
No, none since the first hire that I said got a bit complacent. Ever since then, I've learned a lot more about what it means to, team lead, I guess. So I know that if they make mistakes, I take that's on me. So do better training, communicate better, do video conversations with them, so they have not make them feel bad about asking questions. So yeah, but I've not had any issues. In fact, they do their own thing a lot, and they do a good job at that. So I give them the freedom to explore better ways to do things.
Okay. And some of the notes you mentioned that you have 3 part-time VAs, but you would rather have 2 overall. So what situation did you find yourself in?
How did I get myself in that? Yeah. So the first one I hired, they're all students, I think. But she's really good. She's my main one. She actually trained the other 2. But she can only do 20 hours a week. I'd love for her to do 40 and just get most of the stuff done. And I asked her if she knew anybody else that wanted to come and be a VA, so to kind of fill in for the parts that she couldn't. And she had a friend that was on a course with her that she recommended. So I got in a chat with her, done a contract, got her on board. And I had another that was working for me on Upwork. And I know Upwork doesn't like you transacting outside of their platform, but it didn't make sense to pay her as a VA on Upwork, and they take a certain amount of fees, and you don't have that flexibility. So we had a conversation offline, and she really wanted the job. So so kept her on board, but she wants to do more than the 20 hours. But now I'm in a situation where I've got 3 part-time. So yeah, there's not much I can do about that.
Would you be able to get one of them to work on something different? Like, is that a possibility?
Yeah, they're all kind of doing different things. So sorry, I'm going to charge this. Yeah, they're all kind of doing different things. As I mentioned in the update, I'm going deeper as opposed to being spread thin with all my different sites. So now I'm really focused on brand building and kind of, as they say, building a moat around the site. Mm-hmm. And so I've been doing more video content, so making more videos, and I do use an AI tool, Pictory, to make the videos. So I've trained one of the VAs to do that. So she just does graphics. She's really good with social media and graphics. So she just does stuff in Canva. She makes all those videos, and she's going through a list of my my blog posts, and she's making a video for each. So she just summarizes the blog post and then makes a video, and then I add that to Ezoic. So I've got my video ads, and I can repurpose it and put it on social media and YouTube and stuff. So that's her main job. One of the others finds my articles that the writers do. They all update a spreadsheet. So she'll go in and she'll add those to WordPress, format them, add the images. So that takes up her time. And she's also doing some of the content. And then the third one, she's just doing some content. So they're out, and I don't try and jump them around too much. I let them focus on their tasks. That way I know what's getting done and what needs to be done.
Got it. And where did you find the first student? Because you said, one of them introduced you to another. So was it just through Upwork?
No. So the first one's from Online Jobs, and then the one that she introduced, she's introduced that other one, and then the other one's from Upwork. So Online Jobs and Upwork. Okay,
and that's onlinejobs.ph, right?
Yeah.
The Filipino VA service. Cool.
That they've monopolized the game now, I think. Everybody, you just know people are going to mention them.
Yep. Yeah, I think you're right. Very cool. Okay. And let's see. You mentioned Ezoic. So we'll do, this is an ad. So we'll do a quick little live ad here. And I think, if I remember right, you use the big data analytics quite a bit, which is kind of an area of Ezoic where you can dive into the data and really understand what's going on. Now, we're going to make this relevant. You also mentioned to me before we hit record that Google Analytics was somehow goofed up on one of your sites, right? So can you talk about that and talk about what you're using from Ezoic to make up for the fact that your Google Analytics is kind of goofed up?
Yeah, I think that's a me problem anyway. I don't know where, but maybe I installed the ad code incorrectly. I think that's what the general consensus is online. If your page views are not right, then you've probably installed the code. I don't know how you do it incorrectly, but anyway, I go over to Big Data Analytics, which shows me it's accurate. It's just the most accurate information I've got because it shows me the page views, the visits. It really goes into detail with, how much revenue each page is earning. So, so like you said, the information on analytics was wrong, on Google Analytics was wrong. So using Ezoic now across all of my sites to see the growth, because you can compare last month and, last year with where you are now. I also use Big Data Analytics to go through and see which topic clusters and content is earning the most. So I can go and add more to that cluster and try and get that EPMV higher, or try and make pages that are earning around the same amount to keep that up. So, yeah.
Perfect. And basically in Big Data Analytics, you can look at each one of the URLs, each one of the pages on your site, and then filter it or sort it by the EPMV. So these topic areas, this type of content, for example, earns a lot more than some of the other content. So you could focus on those. Did I summarize that correctly?
Yeah. So there is another thing you need to do. You go into your landing pages, and then I think you need to make your sample size a bit bigger. So I'd select from January up until now, and then I'd download the file. So I'd export it and then sort it like that. But I'd take out all the ones that are less than maybe 100 views, because sometimes it says that this page has only had one visit, and then the average EPMV is like $160. It doesn't have enough information to give you an accurate, account. So I have to download the sheet first, sort it, and then delete the irrelevant ones. And then I've got a clearer picture of what's working and what to replicate. I also use that to find what pages need work, what pages need to be improved. That's the gist of it.
Perfect. Okay. And that concludes the Ezoic ad. So thanks to Ezoic for sponsoring these shows. Okay. So you have some VAs working on video and the graphics and stuff like that. And any other details around the VAs or any delegation that you're doing?
Yeah, so you've got a Haro course, which I'm going through. I keep going back and forth, but there are two things. What the VAs are doing, I'm going to use the course to train the VAs to do the outreach for me. But before that, I've made some kind of clickbait content. I've made two calculators, a calculator and a plugin for the niche. So I've got to go and promote that and use that as my clickbait. Not clickbait. What's the link bait?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my virtual assistants are going to be going through and doing the soft outreach approach with that. But I guess I can talk more about that once I've actually started doing it.
So the calculator is already created.
Yeah, they're really good. I found the developers on Fiverr, so I was a bit apprehensive at first, but
okay. How much did it cost to have developed?
$120.
Okay. And without saying exactly what it is, can you give us kind of an idea or maybe an analogy? Like, is it just you put in a couple fields and it just does some math on the back end or something?
Yeah, pretty much. So you can move some knobs and you put in some information. It gives you don't have to generate anything. It shows you there and then. You can keep changing it up. But there was only one other one, and the I think the UX is that what it looks like?
Yeah.
It wasn't very good. It looked like Windows 98. So I knew it would be easy to make one that looked like the theme that fit into the theme of my site and was more up to date. It just looks a lot better and it does one extra thing. So yeah, should be quite easy to get some links to that.
Cool. Very good idea. Is it something that might get its own like search traffic too, or is it more for link bait? Okay.
Yeah, no, well, it will get it. I've done it so it can as well. So I've actually made these short, where there would be FAQs, I've made these short posts, and they've all got the anchor text keyword, all these different keywords that link over to that page. So I've tried to be a bit more strategic with it overall, so it does get its own, it does get indexed and get its own visits, and that it does get some links from outreach as well.
What about the plugin? Where'd you get that one developed?
That was Upwork. I think I paid more than I needed to, but we got there. We got there in the end.
What did you pay for it?
$300.
Okay. And then it'll be a free plugin, I take it, or? Yeah,
it's going to be a free plugin. I will give it away, but then I do around it. Which is there's the plugin itself is very simple, which is why I think I overpaid. It was one of those per hour rates where they can kind of just keep going, which I think he did, but it doesn't matter. It's done now. But I want to give it away free, but there is a strategy around it that I want to kind of share with it and on ariellephoenix.com so I can get people to sign up and stuff.
Okay, cool. Yeah, well, we're curious to hear how that plays out. And I mean, I think, from a link perspective, just knowing how much it costs to get actual links from a service and how much you paid for the pieces of software, like it'll pay itself off in two links, which it sounds like a no-brainer with just a little bit of outreach.
I didn't think about it like that either, but that makes sense. I was thinking about ways to position myself in the niche, which would, again, build a brand and be different and not look like your typical niche site. And I'm always trying to think of ways to make it more of a brand in itself. Mm-hmm. So, but that's a good way to look at it when I get some links from it.
Yeah. And it'll be a great headline. You could be like, I got X number of links, whatever, like 45 links for $100 or something. And the average
Yeah.
DR is blah. And then you'll get a ton
Yeah.
of views on your video. So very cool. Okay. Anything else going on the last couple months?
No, not really. I always say this and then I say something else, but nothing I can think of.
Well, what's coming up for the next month or so then?
Okay, so far from the numbers that I gave you in the beginning, everything's already gone past those numbers. So it's going to be interesting to see what the end of the month has. But Amazon has just shot up. Okay, so there is something I need to mention. I think it was Aisha Priest you had on your show before. I think it was her that mentioned going into a post and adding affiliate links or adding like products into the posts, into just all of the posts. So I went back and I made these reusable blocks with an AAWP grid, which is kind of like your key products or essential products for the niche, and just added those to those informational content. I went back into site 7 and just added that. Well, the VA's gone in and she's added those in. So, and from that, almost immediately, I saw my Amazon sales just going up. So I've been earning like $20 to $30 a day in the last week from Amazon now. So that is something I've just been looking at. Okay, what products can I add to Site 2? As you know, Site 2 doesn't have that many products. So I do have some of my digital products that I could start to add in as reusable blocks across all of the content. And that way I've got these in-content links as well. And yeah, but that's been working. That's been working.
That's awesome. Yeah, it seems it's too simple, just add links. And I think maybe people are a little bit scared to add affiliate links just in general. They don't want to be too salesy. Some people are afraid that they're going to, quote, make Google mad because there's too many affiliate links. But I think if you are helping the visitor, then it should probably be okay.
Yeah, I was guilty of that at first. I thought informational content needed to be informational and maybe you could sneak a product in. I think we give Google, I'm not going to say we give Google too much power because it's Google, but it's also just an algorithm. It's not a man at the computer saying, this is too many affiliate links. So, but what I do with the reusable blocks is I just do about 3 or 4 of them. And then I make sure that there's content. It's not just the AAWP block of products. It says there's some description there that ties it in with the type of post. So I think 4 categories have a different block. So if it's, for example, if it's about tennis, it's going to have a specific block of information about your key, why these products help you in your training or whatever. And so there is some contextual information around the link. And because it's such a small part of a 1,500 word blog, I don't think Google's going to be angry.
No.
Well, they're not. So far, they're not.
Yeah, probably not. Okay. Yeah. Any other things on your mind here?
No.
Okay. And I'm clicking back. I'm trying to remember our initial earnings and stuff, like where you were when we first started. Do you happen to remember that off the top of your head?
I remember we started on a really high and then it dipped because we were I think I was getting my December and January income, and I had one affiliate program that had earned $1,000 on its own. So that really hiked up the site earnings. And then when that went back down to it went from $1,000 to 100 and something, but it's slowly going up. So 200, 300, 400. But because of that initial 1,000, it looks like the site's gone down a bit. But yeah, it's growing quite consistently. Okay.
And then for this, say, upcoming month, how much content are you trying to publish? So I forget, honestly, but yeah, that way it'll give people a baseline of how much you're publishing per month.
Yeah, I've slowed down. I don't think I've got a specific number that I'm working on at the moment because I've been going back in because I've done the calculator and I've been doing those smaller posts and trying to do topic clusters and tie everything together. I'm working on improving articles, so I've not been adding new content as much as I used to, and I've gone down with my writers. But I feel like because there's so many keywords that I'm targeting that are in positions 4 to 20, or on the second page of Google, and a lot of the content, the older content, I thought was not that good. So going back and editing that and really finding improve that content, I think makes the most sense. So that the video content and just really improving things. So maybe I might publish another 15 to 20 articles this month on site too. But mostly editing, and that's me going in and editing the articles.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And I can't remember if we talked about it much, but once you get that amount of content, it's probably a good idea to just like iterate and almost have someone constantly improving everything. Otherwise, when you come back in like 2 years, it's like overwhelming. There's too much content. So much has to be updated. But if you just constantly go through it, it's probably an easier way to maintain the site.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, I don't have any other questions. Do you have any questions for me? Part of this is coaching, and I'm not sure if you have anything, but if you do, let me know.
No, nothing at the moment. It was the main thing that I'm doing. I think I spoke to you about in email, which was there was something. I don't think you answered that one, which was when people are. I think, that's it. So someone reached out to me for site 2 about, I've got this one of those top 10 X posts, and a company reached out to me because they weren't on the list and they wanted to know how they can get on the list and possibly at the top of the list. So I've not really had that situation before. So I'm wondering how I go about that. Obviously it's going to cost them something. I don't have a media pack or anything set up. So how would I navigate that?
So there's no rules for this. It's just whatever you can negotiate. And I have a friend or two, I haven't done this, but I have a friend or two that they've been in a similar situation where companies see you're getting traffic, they see what you're doing, and they're like, we'll pay for it. So I would generally aim way higher than you think you can get, just because if they're looking for it, and you could even kind of investigate, see if they're like running ads anywhere. If you search around, you'll see that they're running ads. You can try to reverse engineer like how much they might be paying. If it's like AdSense, for example, you could look at the CPC and get some understanding on maybe how much they're spending, or at least make an estimate. But I mean, probably the best way for you is to ask for like a monthly like retainer fee. So it's like, if you want to be on the list, I'm just making it up, $200 a month. And if you want to be at the top, it's like 600, something like that. Okay. And you would, from a disclosure standpoint, you would probably need to put something at the top, like sponsored post or something like that, because you're accepting money for that. And it, from an editorial standpoint, it shows your bias. So, but which is fair. I mean, if there's still good information and you can note, in that case, if you actually place them favorably, then you probably can't say these opinions are my own, because you're literally accepting money to have their opinion.
The thing is, I know them in the niche, and if I had found, I guess it was a writer that wrote the post, but if I were doing my research and I came across them, they would have been on the list anyway. But yeah, that's a shame. They are actually good. I don't think I could put them on the top, not on that site. I couldn't put them at the top if I didn't think that they were actually good. So
got it. Yeah. So I would ask for, a healthy amount, and worst case scenario, because they approached you, right? So the worst case scenario is they would counter with something else that fits into their budget. But what you don't want to happen most likely is for you to say, I want this amount. And they say, yes, that's totally fine. Because that means you didn't aim high enough.
Yeah.
So you got to aim a little higher, and it's I don't think they would say, you know what, you're crazy. That's so high. I don't want to work with you. They probably would come back with, something within their budget, and they're probably just feeling you out. And I don't know, do you think there's a lot of your competitors out there that they could even work with? Are there other options for them?
There are other options, and I know they've been in the space for a while. I do see them. I see their ads on different things, so they're not new to this. So they know that they're expecting this conversation, I'm sure. But yeah, there are competitors, but not completely, not in the same way. So,
got it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would aim a little higher than you think, and just see how it plays out, see how you can negotiate it. And it could end up being, a really nice revenue source, and it may give you other content ideas. That's what happened with one of my friends as he was getting more and more traffic to different posts and different product areas. He basically was able to beef up his revenue by a huge amount. Yeah. It didn't rely on conversions. He was potentially earning affiliate revenue and getting the ad placement revenue, which is, I mean, that's the ideal situation where like they're paying you to even be on the list, and they're paying you when you convert a customer.
Yeah. That's ideal for Site 7 as well. We discussed that would be really good for Site 7 if I could get someone like that, but I think I'd have to reach out to them to do that. But yeah. The other thing was the email, the evergreen email. I think I was calling it a newsletter, but that's what I meant. The just sending out wherever the customer joins to get an email that is still relevant. It's not time sensitive or anything like that. Setting that up. I don't have an email list on Site 2 at all, which is crazy. Because I know I'm missing out, but I want to set that up and set up a newsletter, email letter. I don't know what you're supposed to call it.
Autoresponder, the autoresponder series.
Okay, yeah.
So just a quick overview, which I have a course on this too. I think you have access, but I can't remember. So we'll make sure you have access to it.
Yeah.
The simplest way to do it, because you have how many articles on that site?
205, I think.
Perfect. And via analytics, like the best 20 of them, for example.
Yeah.
So the easiest way to get started with this is have your, get your opt-in form, set up the autoresponder, which if people don't know, the autoresponder sends out on usually a time basis. So someone signs up for the newsletter, they get email 1, and then after a set amount of time, whatever you schedule it could be like 5 days, it could be every week, it could be every 2 weeks, whatever you deem as appropriate, you have an email sent out. And a lot of times you could change it up. So maybe when you first start sending out the emails, it's every third day. And then after 2 weeks, you step it down to like once a week. But that way people get used to hearing from you, they trust you a little bit more, and then it's not as frequent. The easiest way to come up with the content is just to direct them towards the content that is pretty good on your site. And it could be overwhelming to be like, okay, you have to write 10 emails or 20 emails. You're like, oh no, that's going to be like a lot of work. You could just write like the first 2 or so, and that buys you 2 weeks of time. And then each week you just have to stay ahead of it, and then add one more at the end and one more at the end. And it's for each individual. So if someone signs up on day 1, they'll be sort of like the leading edge. But if someone signs up 6 months later to the same email responder, they are going to get those emails in the right sequence with the right interval, and it's evergreen. So you can keep that in mind when you're writing the series, like send them to the evergreen pages.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, I got it. Do you put affiliate services in all of them?
Typically, no. A good cadence is something like every third email or so. It could be less, it could be whatever your style is. So, like for my email list at Niche Site Project, typically I don't sell too often until I'm selling my own courses, and then I'll send like a lot of emails in a short amount of time. And the reason why I do that is it frees me from having to make a decision on whether I want to promote some product or not. And there's just a lot of, in the industry I'm in, there's a lot of crappy products and a lot of people that I don't want to work with. So it's just easier if I just don't most of the time. But yeah, you don't want to sell too much. So every third email is okay. You could do less, every fourth or fifth email, but that way people are getting value. They're looking forward to opening your email. The other side is you could put an offer into each one of the emails. You want to make sure if you do that, it's either entertaining or informative. So even if a person is not interested in the product, they're entertained or they learn something. And that way you could feel comfortable like putting in ads or putting in affiliate links or whatever. And of course, you got to remember you can't put Amazon affiliate links in your email. It's against the terms of service, the operating agreement with Amazon Associates. Most other affiliate programs are okay with it, but you'll have to like read the fine print. But most companies want to sell stuff, so they're okay with you doing that. I'm actually not sure why Amazon doesn't want you to put in an email.
I got burnt by that. It wasn't even an Amazon. It was my Arielle Phoenix newsletter, and it was just when I was telling people about the one link thing. So it was a normal Amazon link that they don't want anything to do with it. So I got a strike, or they basically just stopped me from sending out any letters, any emails. So I had to contact compliance and say I'm sorry and stuff. But yeah, I didn't know that about Amazon. I did not know that. So yeah.
Interesting. I didn't realize that. So you just like linked to one link and they were like, don't talk about anything.
Yeah, so it was just the one link. There's no affiliate link to put in there. I just mentioned Amazon, but I think maybe they didn't like the wording. It said something about make more money with your Amazon links or something, because I was like trying to do a nice clickbait title. And then they just they was like, oh, we can't send this email out and you're banned. So.
Oh, good grief. Yeah, so look out for that. But otherwise, yeah, you can put affiliate links in. And you know what, it's key, the thing I mentioned before, like if the emails are entertaining or informative, then that's good. You could sell a little bit more because people like are getting something out of it. And when I send my marketing emails for my own courses, that's what I try to remember. Like, okay, I'm sending out another one, but I want to make sure that someone would open it and learn something, even if they already own the course, for example.
Yeah,
they're like, oh, I want to open it. And I see that it does work because I watch my open rates and the click-through rate, and they're still very, very high, even though I'm sending basically a daily email for 5 days when I do my launch, which is a lot because I don't send that many normally.
Okay. Do you have a course on, because I know email is a whole different ball game. There's like storytelling and stuff. Do you have a course on emails on, I know there are quite a few out there, but I don't think I saw.
Yeah, so I do have one. And like I said, I think, I can't remember if you have access, but it's definitely a different, it's more like a niche site owner's approach to email marketing versus it's a good starting point, but there's another piece of email marketing, like you said, where it's more about the storytelling and what you put in the emails and more email templates. I don't have too much of that. It's more, like I said, the easiest way to get the autoresponder is to keep it fairly simple and just like send people to the content that is good. And some of that content, I mean, it can be an affiliate review. You're like, for me, it's like keyword research tools. So I like send that out, and that actually can generate some revenue because it's keyword research related and there's products behind it. So you can mix those in as well. And trying to think if there's any other details, but yeah, it's a whole art of like copywriting and like subject lines and like tracking certain metrics, the open rate, the click-through rate, and understanding what works well, and then testing it with your audience to see if it's the right audience for that type of email or type of marketing. My course doesn't go into as many details. Like I said, it's more like niche site owners, like this will get you started. And you know, after that you can go deeper and deeper, which copywriting is, I mean, it's a huge scope of information.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Any other questions?
No.
Cool. Okay. Well, we'll look forward to hearing, especially how that link building stuff is going to go. And we'll check in with you to get the July summary in a few weeks here. So good catching up.
All right.